All right, so for this Friday, March 5th episode of Friday Night Smackdown, I will admit, this is kind of, to me, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this is kind of a dull Smackdown. Like, the really only good things that I found, like, really positive was the Roman Reigns and Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews won't I'm really digging with this new heel persona, but we'll get into it. We kicked off SmackDown with not the Tribal Chief, but we kicked it off with Daniel Bryan and Michael Cole. And he's just talking about Roman Reigns and talking about how he's lived for this moment, like he's fought for this moment and stuff like that. And then that's where we get Roman Reigns, he comes out, he's in all up in Bryan's ear, and he's just going all talking about how Bryan is not like him. Just the same old Roman Reigns promo, that I'm better than you, and the whole 9 yards. Anyways, that's where Jey Uso takes the mic, and he's starting to, babble on, Daniel Bryan, talking about how basically, like, you're not going to make it to Fastlane because I'm going to beat you in the steel cage match, which was the stipulation was if Daniel Bryan defeated Jey Uso, which he did, he would get an opportunity for the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns at WWE Fastlane. Okay, so after that, we get the first match of the night, Montez Ford versus King Corbin. I didn't really care for this match. It was meh. I give it that. King Corbin does get the win here. And then we get Sami Zayn versus Angelo Dawkins, where you have Angelo Dawkins pick up the win here. And again, it was a meh match, so both of those matches were meh. There's really nothing else I can say about that. We did get a backstage segment with Carmella and her, former valet in Reginald, because basically she's accusing him of betraying her over his obsessing, over Sasha Banks, and she fires him. She fires him off the spot. Yeah. All right, we get another in-ring match between Dominic Mysterio versus Chad Gable. Dominic Mysterio gets the win here. I was actually thinking they'll give the win to Chad, but then again, Dominic needs some wins. I guess he needs to be built up. So, yeah, Dominic gets the win here. Again, it was an okay match. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like the match of the night. Like it was meh. Okay. I kind of find it funny how Ray, like, they're telling us that Ray has this injury, and then he's attacking Otis and Chad Gable, and he's not selling the injury. And then when he goes back with Mysterio, and then he be all like, "Oh, my ribs are hurting again," when you weren't. It looked like your ribs were hurt when you were attacking Otis and the crew. So I don't know. It's just crazy. Speaking of Rey Mysterio, apparently the WWE actually got rid of, like, basically they were like fighting wrestlers now who do like those knee slaps and stuff like that. All those super kicks they be doing now. So is what it is. I'm not gonna really dwell into that. That was just a news site that came out tonight. We did get another match. Well, before we actually got that, we got another promo with Rollins. And this was stupid, man, with him and Murphy. But I'll get into it when we get to Murphy versus Cesaro. Now we get to Shayna Basler versus Bianca Belaire. Now, this is what I don't get it. So, Fastlane is not next, not this Sunday, but like the week after next. And you have Bianca Belaire and Sasha Banks, WrestleMania opponents, teaming up to win the tag team titles. Like, bro, they're not gonna win, but again, you need to put in the story that is Sasha versus Bianca. Like, why are they teaming up? I don't want you to betray me. Don't give me this crap saying, "Oh, well, they're best friends." No, they need to be feuding, okay? Bianca wants the title. Sasha wants to keep the title. Maybe they have a screwy finish where some goes down and then they get to the fighting. I don't know. But after Fastlane, they really need to get into this build because You can't just have the two girls go out there and say, oh, I respect you. Like, that's not really a feud, and that's not really a good build for your quote-unquote one of your matches that you would have main eventing WrestleMania. So your quote-unquote WrestleMania main event. But we do get Shayna Basler versus Bianca Belaire. It was okay match. Bianca Belaire did get the win here, obviously. Reginald comes out as always, and Reginald basically like gets in the way of Sasha and everything, and Nia. But again, Bianca Belaire gets the win, which is amazing. Also, we get a backstage segment with the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, with his cousin Jey Uso, talking about that if Jey cannot win tonight, that he will not only embarrass himself, but he will embarrass the family. He told him to not embarrass the family, and Uso was like, I got this, Uso. I got this. So this is where we get to the problem. Murphy versus Cesaro. Okay, so I will admit the match was okay. Again, pretty much a lot of these matches until we get to the main event were okay, really. But this was stupid in so ways. Like, this really describes WWE booking at its finest. I understand you got to give Cesaro some wins. You want to build him up. But we haven't seen Murphy in months, okay? We haven't seen this dude in months. And let me tell you something. When he got left off TV, they didn't explain why. He didn't have an injury. Like, he just randomly disappeared. Like, we were all wondering, like, where the hell is Murphy? Like, he wasn't on TV. He wasn't getting mentioned on TV. He comes back, and his first match back, he loses. Now, again, I completely understand. Like, you know, again, you got to give Cesaro the win here. But at the same time, and then he's talking about, yo, Rollins, like, I want to accompany you, man. Like, basically, I want to get back together. Like, let's get back together. You want to get back together with Rollins after the months you two have been feuding, the months that you've been teasing the split, and then you finally do the split, and now all of a sudden you take a break and you want to come back and you want to pair up with Rollins? That doesn't make no sense. But hey, it's the WWE. Only in the WWE, right? Where a storyline doesn't make sense at all. Like, seriously, dog. Like, and you know, and it didn't even have to be Murphy. It could have been someone else. It didn't even have to be Murphy. But I just don't get how you have Murphy be put off TV and then he comes back and you have zero explanation to why he's not there. I just don't get it. So, okay match, but the whole Murphy coming back and then him wanting to get back with Rollins, like, that shit made no sense at all. 0 sense. Speaking of Reginald's unhappy backstage. He's with his luggage. He's ready to go. He's trying to get one more shot at Sasha. Sasha's yelling no. And then Nia and Shayna stop him. Baszler's ready to beat him up. But Jax is like, Reginald, like, you're kind of cute. And then Reginald looks a bit confused. And then that's where they go to commercial. Is anybody but me getting vibes from what they did this a few years back? And I don't know if you guys remember it, but Nia Jax and Enzo Amore, come on, like, everybody knows who Enzo is. Remember when Nia had that, like, low-key kind of crush on Enzo, and it looks like they were going to be like a little relationship right before they could really get to the payoff? Enzo got released because of allegations that weren't even true. So false allegations, like, you know? So it seems like they're going there, but they're doing it with Reginald. When Reginald can just go to 205 Live and be a cruiserweight since he got the moves like a cruiserweight. All right, so we get Apollo Crews. Man, I'm loving this new Apollo Crews, man. He's talking about that this is just not the new Apollo. Hell, this is not the new Apollo. This is the real Apollo, and I'm just loving it, man. I'm loving that he's embracing his Nigerian royalty, that he's a real African-American. I love it. And Crews talking about how he's happy that Big E's coming back next week because Crews is no longer the man Big E once knew and once dismissed. Again, guys, I really am liking this new Crews. I'm loving it. This guy can be huge in the mid-card position. We get Natalya and Tamina backstage. They're talking about that, you know, why is Sasha Banks and Bianca Belaire getting women's tag team titles, which doesn't make sense. But Pierce says he's sorry, but that's the match that was made. that was the match that was made. So, yeah, and DeVille can't help them. All right, so we get to the main event here. A steel cage match between Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. Now, this was match of the night. This was really good. The head of the table, Roman Reigns, did come out, pulling up the chair, and this was a really good match. I gotta say, it was obviously Daniel Bryan was gonna win, but still good, still cage match. Poor Jey Uso, he's about to get his ass beat once again, but hey, you gotta reap the benefits. Well, suffer the consequences, as Roman Reigns would say. All right, so that was my SmackDown review. Like I said, guys, this SmackDown was it was dull. Like, it wasn't like a strong SmackDown in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. The Murphy, like, that shit made no fucking sense. Like, you could have done something else. Like, that shit was, in my opinion, just weak as F. But, again, I don't want to make this a negative review. I want to make this as positive as I can. We still got a big weekend coming up. We got AEW Revolution. Speaking of AEW, guys, I just did a video entitled, Should Brock Lesnar Go to AEW? In my personal opinion, he probably won't, and he probably not. And if he does, and he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But go check that video out. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get this content going up, people. And I'm glad you enjoyed my SmackDown review. And so, yeah.